Hey folks, Internet Dude here. Hey, in the shop today I've got my 93 Mustang 5 liter, and I'm doing one of those jobs that it's kind of a rite of passage if you own a Fox body, because generally speaking at some point you're probably going to have to do this to your car. So the issue is that the heater core, it's called, was leaking into the floorboard on the passenger side. You may note, if you have one of these cars, if you find that it smells like coolant inside, kind of a sweet smell, or your windshield or windows fog up when they shouldn't, or you see coolant dripping onto your floorboard, you probably need to change your heater core. The bad news is it is buried in the dash and you got to pull the dash out, and let me tell you, this is not fun at all. So there's two videos and on YouTube, and there's some good articles, but there's two videos, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below, and they're helpful, and I've been looking at those and looking at some articles, but watch those because this video isn't a how-to, but I just wanted to share what's going on. So the thing here is I actually have the old heater core out. This is the thing, it's like a mini radiator inside the dash, and it's kind of like it sounds. It's the heater core. So the engine hot coolant goes in through that tube actually, and flows through, comes back out. And there's a fan, in your HVAC system, and it just blows through there and extracts the heat from it. But what happens is they can leak over time. If we turn this around, it's definitely not looking so good. You can see it was leaking. Not looking good. And anyway, there's quite a few steps involved. Just take your time, try not to break or force too many things. But if you look under the hood, here at the back of the engine, there's two hoses that go through there to the firewall. That's where the heater core pops through on the engine side. It's quite a job. There's one tip that I didn't see in those other videos, and I thought I'd share that one with you. So if you take a look here, this wiring bundle is normally actually behind that air conditioning line, because what happens is ideally you don't want to disconnect the air conditioning, which is this part here, hey, and some lines. But if you don't have air conditioning, it makes this job a lot easier. So if you're leaving your air conditioning connected, get this wiring bundle up from behind here, pry it up, get it out of the way so that this line can move back towards the firewall. That's one tip that I didn't see in the videos or in the articles, and that helped me get probably 3/4 of an inch of extra clearance, because when you're really reefing on it in here, you need all the room you can get. It's not the end of the world disassembling most of this dash stuff. The hard part was actually getting at the screws in here. So this is the cover where the heater core lives. Tucks in there. Now there's two screws on this side, and there's two screws way in the back, and the two screws way in the back are really hard to get at. But yeah, it's quite a job. As you can see, you got to take off the console. There's some kick panels you take off, disconnect some of the wiring, some of that stuff back there. You got to drop down the steering column, remove the instrument cluster, that kind of thing. It's definitely a big job. It is. You can do it yourself, but if this is your daily driver, you probably want to set aside the weekend. I would say, like, I'm at the halfway point here, and I would say it's probably taken me off and on probably 3 to 4 hours to get to this point, and I still have to put the new heater core in and fill it up with coolant and stuff like that. So if we take a look here, I'm actually somewhat organized this time on this project. Got this new shelving unit, and I decided, hey, let's make good use of it. So on the bottom here, we have the floor mat for the passenger side, some extra coolant. That's an airlift tool, and what that does is takes out all the air from the cooling system when I go to refill it. Next up, here's the back of the gauges, the instrument cluster. We got a couple kick panels and a sill plate. Got some other trim, the ashtray, some tools, the stuff below the steering column, Up here we've got some more console bits. Here's the new hoses. I chose to get OEM Ford parts for these replacement heater core hoses, because if you're doing this job, you probably want to change those hoses at the very least and inspect the other hoses. Shift boot, shift knob. That's part around the instrument cluster, headlight switch and such. And then up there we've got the main console itself. So here's a look at the new heater core. I went for the Spectra part. You can't buy a Ford Motorcraft part anymore. And so hopefully this one holds up. It's not like I'm going to have the car 20 some odd years. Like the first heater core lasted 20 some years. I'm not going to have it that long. So as long as this lasts at least during my ownership, I'll be happy. I'll just take it over here and compare it to this one. Just for comparison's sake. They look pretty much the same size. This one appears to be like a copper heater core, and this one appears to be aluminum. The tubes, one's a little bit bigger. That matches up, so yeah, that's what I'm up to. Actually, with this car, there is a very slight coolant leak from the radiator itself. So once I get that heater core done, I'm going to drain the radiator, disconnect it, remove it, take it off to a rad shop. Because the car is so original, I really want to just keep the original radiator if possible. It's even got the sticker there with the, you know, date code and stuff like that. So I'd like to keep the car as original as possible. In the case of the heater core, I had no choice. Those heater cores are expensive to repair. Like if I tried to repair that one, it'd be probably triple the cost of buying this new one. Whereas with the radiator, as long as it can be repaired, it's probably the same price or cheaper than buying a brand new radiator. So this is quite a job. Like I say, I'm halfway through it. If you happen to land on this video because you're searching for information on Mustang heater core replacement, definitely feel free to ask me a question below. I probably won't do a follow-up video when I'm done because this is plenty, but if you do have a question, just leave me a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. This process should apply to the 1987 to 1993 Mustangs, regardless of whether you have the 4-cylinder or the V8 engine. The previous cars, the 79 to 86, it's similar because it's still a Fox body, but you can actually go through the glove box, remove the glove box and access the heater core that way. It's way easier from what I've read than the 87 to 93. So yeah, that's really not fun, but sometimes you just got to do this. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you want to see more Mustang content, leave me a comment below and hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to definitely continue to put out more automotive content here in 2019. And yeah, give me some ideas if you want to see some more on this car. I'm hoping to just, you know, really get it ready for a little bit of summer cruising. I wouldn't call the car fast because I own a couple Teslas, but it is a fun car to drive around in, and there is a kind of a hardcore following for these Fox body cars. Anyway, enough rambling. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Just kidding. I have one more tip that I discovered and I wanted to share that with you. So if we take a look at the old heater core, you can see there's some soldering or brazing or something done here to connect this tube to part of the end tank here. And I read online one guy's comment was he likes to put some JB weld on the connection. So what I did, I actually had some JB quick weld, which is quick setting steel reinforced epoxy, and I put some right in here to connect that tube to the end tank and some around this connection. I just want to help ensure that when I'm forcing this in, that it doesn't damage those connections. And even if that connection was damaged right out of the box, it should be fine by doing this. That would help seal it up anyway. But I mean, I'm sure they test it before it goes out. But yeah, I added that epoxy. I connected that, so if I'm really reefing on that to put it in, that should be okay. I noticed there's a warning sticker, so this must have been a problem for some people. Connections broken or damaged during installation will void warranty. So they don't put that sticker on for no reason. Obviously, that's happened to people and they've complained. So anyway, just one more quick tip, and that's it. Thanks for watching.